Here's a brief overview of Spire and some of its key features. So we're just going to log in and we choose the company we want to work on today. First thing that happens is we get a pop-up menu here, and it shows us that we have some reminders or alerts. So we have a sales order. We're supposed to call John about a quote, and we can hit open related, and that pops up that order. You can then go ahead and manipulate that order, process it, invoice it, however you wish. There's a note to call John. So it's just a note, a plain note. And there's a purchase order we need to follow up on. We go open related, and we see that purchase order. Okay, so in the calendar, I just wanted to show you this particularly. You can see that we have entries here, and each of these may have come from different parts of the program. So under today's date, I can see I've got 3 items on my list. So I got a purchase order I'm supposed to check, so I can go open related, and it opens up the purchase order that I was working on or needed to check, and I can go ahead and process this from here. I have Jackson Fitness Center, a promised payment. It opens up accounts receivable, and call John about a quote, open related, and it opens up the quote that I need to work on, and I can actually invoice it or add to it from there as well. Calendar items can be moved around as well by just clicking and dragging them. Okay, and then we also have a browser. The browser is handy where you can put different items online that you need access to quickly. So here's our company website. I've got email account set up here where I can open and create emails and send emails, and then a web store. So I just got Amazon showing on here, but you can put your web store on here as well. Okay, Spire is multi-location and multi-divisional. So by going File and Change Location, or by pressing F10, you'll be brought up with an interface that allows you to switch divisions. I've got divisions turned off for this company, and also locations, so I can switch from one location to the other. And also, if I'm using point of sale terminals for credit card processing, I can switch tills at that point as well. Okay, the next thing I want to show is under lists. So here is a list of my customers. You'll see that I've just got a few columns on here, but I can right-click on the column header and add in more columns as well. So I've added the city column to that now, and I can move columns around as I need to. And again, of course, I can remove columns. Once I've got a layout set, I can actually save that. So I can go Save Filter As and call this New Set Up, whatever. And I can give it to, add it to the modules list, save the column state, which means the layout, the sort order, and the position of the columns. And I can give it to myself or to the company. And I click OK, and it saves that. And you see now I've got new setup right there. I've got my regular customer list, sales this year, which I had previously created, and new setup. So basically you can see here that I can create my own set of layouts, my own little reporting engine. And then from here, however, sort order, I'm going to sort this by customer name. And then I'm going to export this. I save that to my location. I'll overwrite my last export. And now I go open file, and I've now got this exported list in exactly the same order as I had on my Spire screen. And the top column is locked. I can scroll through that whole list. So you can truly see that you've got a very customizable little reporting engine. And in this list, or any list of Spire, you can also search many different ways. So I'm sorted by customer right now. I type in BL, and it drops me to Blake Bailey. If I type in DA, it takes me to Dale William. So the first column, they're the first characters I search for, NAS, and it'll take me to Nashville. So any column I can sort by. Also, you've got a universal search that searches everywhere inside that customer record. So if I type in John, then I get 2 customers that have John in as their contact. If I go in there, you'll see I got John Moser here. Okay, I can also search for words within notes. So watch, and I got a customer that has the word watch somewhere in there, and I come here and I say that there's a note that says watch, make sure no over 90. Okay. Okay, so let's go into sales. And from here, again, those searches I can do in like I said earlier, anywhere. So let's search for the word heart, and I'll see I've got a few orders that have heart somewhere in them. And if I go into one of them, you'll see that I've got an item on the order with part of its description being heart in the heart rate monitor. So if I'm short of an item, I can go ahead and search for that item and contact each of these customers to let them know that we're going to be late shipping those goods. Okay. From here, let's go ahead and create a new order. So I'll go new. I can find a customer anyway again. So that one earlier we saw that was Jackson Fitness Center. If I can start typing their name and it shows up, I can type in Jason, who is one of the contacts, or I can type in their phone number and I'll find it that way as well. So using that search criteria, kind of like a Google search within the system, I find the customer almost any way I need to. From here, I got that note that popped, we had it saw earlier, that pops up here, and it says watch, make sure no over 90. And I see by hovering over the AR balance that they indeed have over 90, and they're also over their credit limit. You see the types of orders that we handle are a regular sales order, a booking order, which is a future dated order, so it does not commit inventory, a standing order, which is a repeat order, and you can repeat that daily, weekly, monthly, or a customized set of days or weeks or months, a quote, an RMA, which for returns, and a work order for service. Okay, I'm just going to keep this as a regular order for now. Okay, an order can be set with several phases, and you decide what those phases are. You create customizable phases. So from here, I'm going to go look up, and typically be starting on a new, and you can also set which phase is assigned to a brand new order in company settings. Okay, so if I got a new order here now, and if it needs the next step, you'll see here if I look at it, if I look at new order and I edit that, it says our phase after that is needs approval. Okay, and from there, needs approval, if I edit that, it says it's approved is the next step. And then from there, it goes from approved to ready. Okay, so then if I have that at new, I can next hit the next phase button and it moves it along to needs approval. Okay, it popped up a message now that we've saved the order that there's notes for this customer, so I can view those notes if I need to. Okay, so then we're going to come down to the order itself and start adding in items. You'll see again that search criteria also comes up here. I type in the word weight, or W-E-I, and we see we've got several items. Now the second one down doesn't have the word weight in this description, but its grouping of product is weight. Okay, we choose that, add the item, hit enter, put in one more, enter. Got a back order on that one. Okay, and you'll notice here that we've got some of these lines are in red. That means that it's fallen below the accepted or the set margin for that particular product. And if we hover above this little exclamation mark right here, it says sell price too low, current margin is 25%, and the required is 35%. So this is helpful if your costs start to creep up, especially with changing dollar values. You can catch that before it's too late. And at the end of the year, you find you've been selling at a very low margin and not making enough profit on the items. You see here that we see the average margin, the current cost, standard cost, and margin. So you have three different kinds of costs: average, current, and standard. Average being our weighted average for the product as we receive and sell them. The current being the last price we paid for it, and standard cost being a cost we fix to the product if you want to report on a fixed cost product. You'll see down here, it shows us that we have nothing available for that item. So we were minus 33 of them already with minus 17 on hand and 60 of them committed, one back ordered, and we do have 34 of them coming in from our supplier. Okay, we have something called a kit. So if I type in kit, I can search for it. I've got this kettlebell kit, and what it does is it pops up the list of the products that are available in that kit, and you can select how many of each one you wish to use. So I can put 2 there, 1 there, 0 there, and so on, and click OK, and then it populates the order with the items indented underneath of that kit. Okay. You can also collapse that kit if you wanted to, so that it automatically just sells the items underneath of it, or you can customize it like I did there. We've also got something called a macro. So if you key in an item, it will then put a series of items on the order as well. Similar to a kit, but they're actually separate items and not part of a kit. Okay, so we can go to an item, say this one that's back ordered, and we can click Open Inventory. And it actually opens up the item in inventory. And if I look at sales, you can see that I've got 3 orders for these items to 3 different customers. And I can have a look to see who they're back order to, and if I want to drill down to it, it opens up the actual order. I can then remove that item off this order, so I can then, or back order on this order, so then I can then go ahead and take it for this customer's order that I'm doing right now. Okay, so not only looking at back orders, but you can check sales history, you can check pricing, you can check any open purchase orders and drill down to it and so on. Okay, this is all without leaving the order. Another spot to drill down into is to the customer themselves. I open up the customer. I can see all of their sales I've got right now. I look at all their invoices, so their history. I can look at any of their stats, this year's sales, last year's sales, their shipping addresses, anything about the customer, same way you would go into it if you went into the customer module. Let's say we were interrupted while we were taking this order for a customer to take a cash sale from somebody. I can then just take this and move it aside, or I can just minimize it, and I can start a new sale, or go into point of sale to do that if I wish. So I'll just add another new sale, and I'll take an order from a customer. I'll just quickly fire something on here, and we're going to take payment for it. So we go invoice, and they're going to pay by partial of it by Visa. So we'll do a partial payment here of $2,000 by Visa. Click OK, and they're going to give us cash for the remaining part of it. You click OK, and then we're going to invoice that. And journal entry comes up if you have access to that, and then we print the invoice. Okay, so that invoice got printed. It's over here, and we're done. Customer takes his product, walks out the door. We simply come back down and open up that order we were working on and continue where we left off. Okay, so let's sell an item. I'm just going to delete this kit off here. When you delete a kit, it wants to know if you want to delete the whole kit or just the individual item. I'm just going to go group, so the whole thing's gone. And here I'm going to sell a protein shake, the protein mix, vanilla flavored. Notice it came up and says lot numbers on the bottom here. This is a lot controlled item, so I'm going to sell 24 of them. And it's saying we have 12 available, so I'm going to take those 12 lot numbers. We can't overcommit, so I'm going to take those 12 and click OK and accept. And we've got 12 of them back ordered. So at this point, we want to be able to order some more of those from our supplier. Okay, so what we do is we just highlight that, and then we click on requisition, and it pops up, and there's 2 items that need to be requisitioned. One of them coming from our vendor Empire Health, the other one's from National Equipment. There's our 12 back ordered items that we need to special order for this customer. So we're going to go ahead and process that. Okay, so then we'll just close that. And if you go over on the order on that item here, go all the way to the end, you'll see that we now have purchase order number 52 and 53 just got created. Because they're 2 different vendors, it created 2 POs. If it would have been the same vendor, it would have put them both on the same purchase order. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to process this order. Okay, so that's a process button. We click at the top here. It's telling us again, warning us we've got some items below margin. We'll approve that. And then we're going to print a pick slip. Okay. And there's our pick slip. Okay, now the order, you'll see here, if we click on sales and we go ready for shipping, we'll see that that's order there is processed. We've got a filter created that we created here earlier where the status is one of, and we chose process there. Okay, so before we can invoice this to our customer, we need to have those goods in stock. So that PO we created earlier with our special orders, you'll see here that we've got a PO for right here at the bottom for Empire Health. If we open that up, we'll see there's that vanilla flavored protein mix we ordered. We have 12 of them. So we can go ahead and receive these. Oh, so we have to issue the purchase order first. So we issue it to our supplier and we'll just preview that here. And we would have emailed that off to our supplier. And now we're going to go ahead and receive them. Okay, so we're going to go receive all, and it pops up and asks us what the lot number is for these items. So we're going to receive the lot number and 12 of them. Expiration date, you can set up lot numbers so they automatically get a fixed period. So 1 year or 6 months or whatever it happens to be. Mine's set manually, so I'll do that. Click OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and receive these. I'm going to create a vendor's invoice, put in the invoice number, and we will post it. And we're going to close the order. And then we'll print off a report. And we'll see we received 12 of those items. There's a lot number we received right there. And the order fulfillment report shows that we owe these to Jackson Fitness Center on that particular order that we did earlier. So we know exactly who we need to process or to receive these for, so we don't throw them on the shelf. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our sales order. And there's that order that's ready for shipping. And here, there's the 24. We're going to go ahead and ship the rest of these. So I can either change this to 24 or click on the serial number button. So there's the extra 12 that we ordered. And whoops, I got to put 12 in there. So there's the 12. And we click OK. And now the 2 lot numbers show up at the bottom here. Okay, so we can go ahead now and invoice this order. So let's go invoice. Some items below margin. And we're going to put it on account. It says here the customer's credit failed. So we either have to cancel this and take a payment method, or we need to talk to somebody in our accounts receivable department. And if we have access to the override, we can do so. Otherwise, we're going to have to ask for an override. I happen to have override capability, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll go preview, and there's our invoice. There's the 24 items on the bottom with our lot numbers on them as well. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go look at accounts receivable. And if I come in here and I put in the customer, so Jackson Fitness Center. So here's all of their receivables that we've got. And if we look through these orders, we should see the one that we just created. It should be this one here. And if we go on view invoice, and you'll see there's the items that we sold them. Okay. So if we go ahead and pay that now, if they're going to pay this one invoice, we click on payment. We can print a receipt for them. They're going to pay by, say, Visa. And we'll post that. And here's their payment on account receipt. We can click email on it to them. And we email them that receipt showing what they paid. And then that item is cleared off. Okay, so we previously sent them a statement, and they've brought up to us that they haven't paid because they got some invoice they didn't understand. So they got 3 invoices here for $5.65. And if we go ahead and view those invoices, we see that we charged them $5.65 for that item, but they got back, whoops, we didn't look at that, got back ordered, so it never got shipped, 0 shipped, but we still charge them the freight charge plus taxes. And that's the case of all 3 of these. So what we'll do then is we'll go ahead again and view that invoice. We'll reverse it, and we'll invoice it, approve, and on account. We won't bother printing it. We'll go to the next one. We view the invoice. We reverse it, and on account again, and we won't print it. And the last one, view invoice, reverse, invoice, on account, and cancel. Okay, so now we'll just refresh the screen. We'll see 3 credits. So we can go click, click, and click on those 3. And same as these 3. Nets out to 0. We just apply them. Now they disappeared off the list. And now the customer said, look, I need another statement without those on it. Plus I don't have a copy of the invoice for $6,529. Okay, so I highlight that invoice. I go ahead and click on print, the customer statement and invoice. I go preview, and I'll see I've got a copy of that invoice plus their statement. So quickly and easily, now they tell us that they're going to go ahead and give us a payment on Friday. So I go ahead and add a new note. It says Jackson pay Friday. And I'll just put Friday's date on it. And save and close. So now that's going to show up on my calendar automatically for me to follow up with them on Friday instead of waiting until the next time I do collections. Then I can go to user defined fields here and say date of last contact, which was today, and I talk to Jason, and I just keep these user defined fields up to date at all times. So these fields I've added here as custom fields, and that user defined module has any number of user defined fields you can add, and you can add them to all modules throughout the program, from inventory to sales order to purchase order to journal entry to general ledger accounts, anything. You can add as many of those you need to, and those can be any types of fields. So text fields, multi-text, integers, which is a number, numeric, decimal number and a numeric, currency, percentage, a date, and a checkbox, which is Boolean. Okay, so any kind of field you need to, and you can make any of those fields mandatory as well. Okay, so just close that. Several parts of the program are batch-based. If you wish, you don't have to use batches, but if I want to do batch accounts receivable, I can do that, or batch accounts payable, I can do that. So if I go to batch for accounts receivable, and I add a new batch, I can say I want to do all my EFT customers. I go load receivables. So there's everybody that owes me money right now. And I can sort this however I wish. But if I got checks coming in, I can go ahead and tick these off as they pay them, or if they're going to be EFT payments, I can do so. And then from here, all I need to do is post it, because I've chosen EFT. Post it, pay 6 items. Okay, it wants me to save that CPA file, which is what I upload to the bank for the EFT payments. I save that. Print the receipts so I can email a receipt out to each of my customers that I just received the payment, and email merges it to them automatically. And then it wants to know if you want to transfer that EFT amount directly into the bank, because you don't want those to hit the bank individually, because when an EFT hits your bank, it goes in as one lump sum, not as individual payments. Okay, so you say yes, that's the amount that's going to go to your bank. Click OK, and then print a deposit list if you need to. There's just a deposit slip, two copies of it you can take to the bank to get stamped. Okay, that same EFT function exists in accounts payable in batch view, and also in payroll, Canadian payroll for direct deposit. Okay, we're going to go to general ledger, and here we'll see basically a chart of accounts with all their balances and the changes for this month. This is like a trial balance, because it's got the balance of all the accounts all the way through, just without the total at the bottom. So if you're just checking totals, you can do so. And then to find transactions is pretty simple. So if we go to the transaction table, if we sort by last transaction, we see the newest ones at the top. We can see there's our EFT deposits we made. And also if we look down here to this sales order of supplements, you see this line here. We drill down and we'll see that's an invoice that we would have posted because it came from a sales order. If we go view source, you'll see there's the invoice that we billed the customer for that protein shake mix plus the other couple of items. And from here, again, I can reverse this, no problem, just by clicking on the reverse button. And again, because we can drill down and do functions through drill downs very, very simply. Also, you can find that by the invoice number or the customer code. So if I go into search at the top and I type in JACFIT, I can find every transaction that happened to Jack This Fitness Center. So those are all of their transactions, okay? So you'll see there's the entity right there, okay? I can search for a supplier code. I can search for a purchase order number or an invoice number to find the transactions any way I need to. Okay, again, in filters here, if I take out that search I did there, I can now create a filter and say I want to find type source is a journal entry. So there's all my journal entries, and I can see those all here, and I can find a particular journal entry I'm finding, again, by typing out source number or anything like that, or look for just small transactions. Well, there's not too small ones in here, so let's go in here. This one here, let's say it was an error. I can simply click on reverse. It uses the same date that it was created. You can override it if you wish to move it to a different date, and then you can go ahead and post it. Or you can just partially change it. If it was a multi-line, you can partially change it before you post it. So I went ahead and reversed that one. But I can also copy a transaction. Copying a transaction automatically puts today's date on it. However, in this case, that was posted earlier today, so it is the same date. And again, I can change these numbers to what I want. So if I've got a normal common journal entry I do with all kinds of monthly charges on it, I can just copy a past transaction, tweak the amounts, and then post it. Okay. Okay, lastly, I just want to show you our web modules. So I just go under Tools and Server Administration. This is the administration portion of it and the web modules. So the administration portion is where your companies are, your accounts, so your usernames, your snapshots, which become backups, your reports, custom and stock reports, integrations, licensing, log files, and an archive backup. But underneath the other modules, we've got customer lists. So you can go into customers here to edit them or add them. Inventory, you can look at inventory and its balances. Vendors, purchase orders, sales orders, and sales history. And if you go into a sales order and you go into one of them, you see here, there's the items on the order. And if you want, you can use this on an iPhone or an Android device or any tablet. Basically, I'll just simulate what it looks like here. And you can then look through these items. You can add to them. You can change quantities. You can basically just look at what an order for a customer is, or add new orders for customers. This can be done from any web device by default inside your network, or if you're on Spire Cloud, you can do it from anywhere, from any device on the internet. Or if you've got a proper VPN set on your network, you can also access it through your own virtual private network as well. And that is the demonstration. Thank you for watching.